Good evening and welcome. It's Monday night, so here we are on the ILFL Soccer Night Show, and what a night it is. We have cup games galore from yesterday's fixtures. We have ILFL Cup and we have the Interleague Champions Cup, which saw a glut of goals and many teams going through that were expected, weren't expected. We're going to discuss that because between myself and Rashid, at least, who's sitting next to us, we made some bold predictions last week. We've got some highlights for you that we didn't have last week. We've now got one of those games from the Interleague Champions Cup. It's MK Galacticos v West End. The boys from Milton Keynes came down the M1 to take on the boys from the West End. What happened? Here is highlights from that game yesterday. It's the Interleague Champions Cup, MK Galacticos versus West End. And there it was, an entertaining game, as all of the Champions Cup games were. But the boys from Milton Keynes won it by 4-2, and West End's great start to the season comes to a stop as far as the Interleague Champions Cup is concerned. And they weren't the only ILFL side who found it a little bit difficult and tough going. Rashid, I'm going to turn to you because we sat here last week and we spoke about this. We've been looking forward to it for a long time. We spoke about how we thought the ILFL teams would do. It's mixed bag.
With the game, we just saw the highlights. So we have to give credit to MK. What they did in the first 10-15 minutes is use their great asset, which is the speed. There are a lot of young players. And I think West End were caught out or surprised with the pace the players had with MK Galacticos. And saying that it didn't help that they have the first choice keeper or the striker. But the second half, they came back and showed a bit of fighting quality and tried to give MK a game. But unfortunately, it was too late in the day. And MK showed the superior. They were good, but in terms of other teams, games we watched, I think there are better teams in the competition. But hopefully, once they come against another team, we'll see how good or can they actually go and win it, as they stated on all the social media, etc.
Okay, indeed. Another team that came down and took apart another ILFL side were Tottenham Phoenix, who beat the London Tigers by 5-2. The current Premier Division champions taking a little bit of a beating, it seems. And I'll turn to Jermaine now, and because you are definitely the man to talk about Phoenix. No surprise, I suppose, in your eyes.
Well, no, actually, it was a bit of a surprise because they were really, really up for it, Tottenham Phoenix. And, you know, they said to me, oh, I've given them a hard draw, they said. I thought, no, this is how it is. But, you know, they were really, really up for it a lot more this season than they were last year. You know, they had 18 players to choose from. You know, last year they struggled to get a bare 11. But it was a very good game. And if London Tigers had made it 3-3, you know, it could have been different, but as it was a very close game, and then, you know, it was just 3 counter-attacking goals, and you know, I think the London Tigers dropped ahead after it was 4-2, but it was a very, very good game, and like I said, Tottenham Phoenix were really fired up for it. You could hear them screaming when they were scoring from 2 pitches away.
But Rashid, isn't that the kind of thing we were expecting from Tigers? I mean, we did speak about that, and after Tigers' poor showing last season, we kind of expected more from them this time around.
That's what I was expecting with Tigers, to have that fighting and to prove that last year was one of bad season, and they'll show some determination and passion. But I saw the passion in Tottenham Phoenix. They had the hunger, they had the desire, and it showed, as Jermaine said, and they came back. They wanted it a bit more, which surprisingly London Tigers didn't have it in the locker yesterday. So I wasn't surprised Tottenham Phoenix at the end winning, but it was a close, but it was very entertaining to watch game.
We're talking about games that were close, despite the reflection in the scoreline. Gower All-Stars put another ILFL team to bed, beating your own Beaumont by 4-1. So how close was that one then, Rash?
Well, I'll let Jim, he watched the game as well. First minute we conceded a goal. Once you concede a goal in the first minute, you're against the wall, and then obviously it's a matter of guns blazing, try and get a goal back. We did play well, we just couldn't score. Gower Stars, yes, they were a good side. They're top of their league by and right, physically good, very organised, and the back wall and the keeper were immense. And I think overall the team looked like good shape, and the way the management structured the team was very good. Beaumont tried their best. They played good football, but just couldn't score, and Gower Stars made sure they were clinical when they had the chances, and I'm sure Jim can add a bit more because he was watching the game.
He's looking for support here, Jim. Jim, listen, first I should say welcome to the show. Good to have you on. Glad to have you here. Give us your account.
He summed it up absolutely perfectly, and I said to you the other day, how the hell did you lose 4-1? For me, the difference between the 2 teams was the finishing. And Gower All-Stars, I thought there wasn't too much in the actual play, speed, the tempo, the ability of the players. I just felt that Beaumont, you just couldn't finish on the day. And that was a real difference between the 2 teams.
And that's what counts at the end of the day.
And that is exactly what counts.
So well done to those teams that have gone through. Tottenham Phoenix, Gower, MK Galacticos. What happened to your own team though, Jim? You came up against a Bromley side who a little bit hit and miss this season, but when it comes to the cup games, they tend to put it together. And it was a tense old affair. Tell us about it.
It was a difficult one for us because we only had 11 players. So, and the players that we had there kind of changed the dynamics of the side, so we knew from kick-off, regardless of Beaumont, we was going to have to play a deeper game because we just didn't have the players to play an offensive game. But it was very difficult to break Bromley down because um, they were like ants all over the place. They passed the ball very well. They attacked with pace. I thought personally we defended very well, and if we didn't defend as well, and I'd go as far as to say we probably had one of the best defensive performances on the Marshes, we would have got beaten by a good few goals. But and that's basically what we set out to do, and it was playing deep, setting up. We had a few players missing in the back four, so we dropped a couple from the midfield into the back four, and we just wanted to try and get a nice solid back four. We knew we were going to concede possession, we knew we were going to be under the cosh, but I had a lot of confidence in the back four, and I think you'll agree the back four did play very, very well. We was under a lot of pressure throughout the game.
And that swaps me right over very nicely to Amin, who you were the goalkeeper up the other end. Pleased with your team's performance?
Well, it was, like I said, we've had a hit and miss season. We had good patches and we had bad patches. I mean, we tried to break Mostin down, but they were immense at the back. They were like a solid wall that we kept on trying to knock down and we couldn't. And then they hit us on a counter and they got the rewards, which was a great goal. Second half we tried breaking them out again, and through the constant pressure I think we got a deflected goal. I think it was deflected.
There was an own goal, that was my son actually.
Deflected goal, and then we got a penalty.
A few words over the dinner table then afterwards.
Then we got a penalty and we were winning 2-1, trying to hold on for the last 10 minutes. They had a free kick. Luckily I saved it, and the last 5 minutes then they scored a goal, and then it took us to penalties.
And it took you to the tense penalty shootout. And do you want to talk it about yourself, or do you just want to be quite modest, or shall I let Jim just say?
He saved 3 of the penalties. I mean, we spoke about this. Was it 4? Yeah, we spoke about this before we came on air, and I think the difference between our penalties and your penalties were we hit the target on every penalty, although you saved a few of them. I think it was 2 of yours or 3 of yours didn't even hit the target. Didn't even hit target.
Terrible.
But I think for me what really summed up the whole tournament was just not, we spoke about this yesterday, was not just the passion and that from all the players, etc., but the sportsmanship was incredible yesterday. I mean, I watched 3 other games in the morning. I never see any chasing referees, I didn't see any abuse, I didn't see any bad tackles. Everything was fantastic.
And I think that's commendable.
Yeah, what summed it up for me, the whole tournament, was the way you guys celebrated, which proved it meant a lot to them. And I think one of my players that missed a penalty, actually a full-grown man, was in tears after he missed his penalty because he felt he let us down. And I think that summed up how much people wanted to compete in this tournament and win it.
Jim, we're going to talk more about it in the next section of the show. We've got to go through lots more of the results from yesterday, from this and the Challenge Cup in the ILFL. So stick around, we'll be back after this short break.
আপনারা দেখছেন ILFL সকার নাইট।